off center. The camera moves every week, and I swear I don't know why. I don't touch it. Hello, good evening.
I bet you it's your chair.
You know what? Perfectly reasonable and valid answer, and probably the right one. And then also dog. Dog bumping the desk would do it too. Anyway, evening. Good. Wednesday. I actually have a thing I'm working on for the opening part of this, which I still like. I need to work on like the overall greeting and intro anyway, but I actually have a thing to go after it before we jump into stuff, which I think will be fun. I have to commission art for it though. Anyway, okay, catch us up with what happened last week.
Sure. As usual, my notes are kind of everywhere, but at the beginning of the session, we got some more wonderful information that Titan, got more wonderful information, has yet to share with the rest of the party. We've kind of all been busy. From Rathmanus. And if you really want to get into the nitty gritty of that, I'd suggest going back and watching the last session. Let's see. Corona went looking for some armor, or at least an enchantment. Star announced that there was going to be a game. To whomever found Star and tagged her, that there would be an item given. And Corona did exactly that. Corona saw Star across the tent and chased her down. And then Lilith found Corona and started chasing. And then Roz and Titan. And lastly Adi. And Star got caught with a flying tackle over a countertop. Lilith was the distraction and Roz absolutely barreled her over. To which we decided that, or the prizes were revealed to us, that they were each a potion of, there were 5 potions revealed for the different dragons, and that we could pick one. We elected that Titan should have the honors, and he picked the potion of Dragon's Majesty. The Ice Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Yes. The white one.
The white one. Yes, and then, because we all were such sports about this, everybody else also received their own item. Roz got always shiny splint armor. Corona got a chest that keeps things fresh. Adi bought, or asked for and got a discount on Covert's favorite tea. Lilith got an ever-clean towel. And because it's just no fair when everybody else is getting trinkets, Titan also got snowball mittens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that won't go poorly in the future for us. Ever. Because Titan's fists are bigger than mine, so that snowball is going to be something.
Size of your head, actually.
Right? Yeah, we then go and Roz goes to find, she confirms that Rathmanus is a master smith and rushes to go find Lucius. Goes to the bastion, is told that everybody is in fact over at the circus tent, and when she meets up with Lucius and she finds him, he basically says, I had the option of waiting in line or spending time with my family, and I suggest you do the same. Take a break. Have fun. Lilith did some gambling and broke even? I didn't actually keep a tally.
She lost all of her money.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Lilith lost everything, but might have had fun doing it. Adi, on the other hand, made up the difference that she needed to go purchase her cloak of protection because she wanted to give her mother some assurances that she was going to be protected while they're out on missions. And was actually able to barter for it. That was the biggest part. She felt that bartering is a key part of purchasing, but unfortunately couldn't find Star again, so she bartered with one of the clones, which was still fun, but she figured bartering with Star would have been absolute tops. She still got to barter. Very happy about that. With the clause that she must never be a villain and declare where she got her cloak from if anybody ever asks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what Corona and Titan were doing after, but Lilith, Roz, and Audie were going to get their fortunes told. And Lilith did receive her fortune. I'm not going to get into the details of that because I guarantee I won't do it right, but it's being told by Snowflakes, and that's pretty cool. And received a 4 for a d20 roll to swap out at any point.
Which I think is a perfectly viable thing to have received.
Correct. That's it.
Does anybody have anything else they want to add?
No.
Okay. In which case, we'll pick back up where a vast majority of the party is, in line to have their fortunes told. Lilith just finished receiving her fortune, and has doubled back to get in line, eventually revealing that this one would be for Callista. Given that Callista is also not one unfamiliar to the fortune-telling ways. But first up is Melody and Roz. And the atmosphere here is quite high energy. Everyone seems quite happy. There's always music being played via animated instruments that float about and bob in the air to the tune of whatever it is they're playing. Everybody that is in line is excited, and everybody leaving. A wide array of various emotions and expressions to take in. Some bright beaming smiles, others contemplative silence, and a couple crying. Because the future is a scary thing, but when people ask for it, they don't know what they're going to get. Eventually, after waiting your due turn, you are the first in line. And after another person comes out, this individual with a smile on their face, the flaps of the tent close briefly, and then raise up in a flurry of snowflakes, beckoning you inside.
Right, well, after you, Audie.
Alright, as long as you're right behind me. And she skips forward.
Yeah, Roz is with her.
Because she wouldn't put it past Roz to be like, yeah, absolutely, and then sidestep.
Mm-hmm.
But Roz saw how important it was to her.
To refresh your memory, the interior of the tent is about 20-foot radius. It is white with tinges of like a very light pale green and gold. The individual sitting on the other side of the table, on these low sitting tables where you would sit cross-legged, is an individual with tanned skin, straw blonde hair with black tips, bedecked with gold jewelry strewn throughout. They are likewise dressed in a very kind of light, flowing outfit, a black vest with gold trim, jewelry to match that in their hair. These huge puffy sleeves on their arms that are diaphanous, and you can see there's various patterns woven into them that sparkle as they move. But most notably, and by contrast to the others that you've met, this is the only one amongst the various members of Star's Spectacular Sales Circus that has a draconic tail. It's sort of curled out from behind them and kind of resting comfortably on its own pillow. Likewise, the lower half of their body, which is pretty humanoid down below the knees, where they bend backwards and end in feet like that of a large game cat. By contrast to all the others that were pretty normal human presenting, this is just a little bit of a twist from all the others. They welcome you in with a bright, beaming smile that seems to sparkle like the snowflakes floating about in the air, and with two hands, one to either pillow on the opposite side of the table of them, gesture for you to sit down. Welcome.
Well, take a seat.
So it is not often that two come into the tent. Are you looking for both of your fortunes to be told, or to see where you two will end up together?
Audie kind of chuckles at this. No, I'm not her girlfriend. Her girlfriend's outside the tent right now.
Well, I didn't imply that either. I merely meant down a road traveled together, you could end up in the same destination. Whether or not you are curious as to what that might look like.
Well, Audie, to be honest, this is for you. What do you want it to do?
Oh, I was originally thinking just to myself, just to see where I'd end up and where you end up. But I suppose the more immediate is really where we're both ending up. We're gonna be stuck together for a little bit.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, that works for me. So let's do what the lady asks.
Very well. Then I will ask for you to extend both of your hands onto the table, palms up. Then I'm going to ask for you to think about the experiences you had, places you wish to be in the future, things you wish to do. And with that, I will glimpse into your futures and see where it leads you.
And it's obvious that Audie is really into this. Like, she puts forward her palm and, like, closes her eyes and thinks really hard kind of thing.
Roz is a complete contrast. She's definitely trying to hide the fact that she has one eye open and is kind of looking around like, this is a spectacle. This is a show, and not much else, huh?
The air in the room suddenly shifts. You feel a wind begins swirling about in the tent. A light mist gathers high overhead. And soon snow begins to fall as the mist darkens into gray storm clouds. And it snows, and it snows, and it snows until the table is mounded. And then slowly you begin to both see as figures carve their way out of the snow, pushing themselves free. The first thing that you will both see is that a figure stands at the head of a long table. Around the table, you can tell there are just over a dozen individuals seated in very high-backed chairs. It looks like a council chamber. Somebody at the head of it is speaking to them. They appear to be wearing armor, adorned with a cloak. They have an individual next to them, shorter in stature, and they both seem to be speaking with a great amount of fervor and purpose to this group of people, almost beseeching them, trying to drive a point home. And then the figures will fall, and everything will become kind of a homogeneous plane of snow again. And then there will be another figure that will climb its way up out of the snow, almost like watching somebody traverse up a steep mountain with ice and various threats to their general safety, hiking in a somewhat perilous place. And eventually you see that there's another figure above them and they reach out a hand, trying to offer this person to the next ledge. For all intents and purposes, the figure that looks like they were making the initial climb appears to be smaller in stature, if that matters. The mound crumbles again, returning to a flat plain of snow and ice. And then several dozen figures carve themselves up out of it. Various individuals of size and shape, most wearing armor, wielding weapons, and then very distinctly, you can identify a couple of gnomish automatons amongst the various small ice figurines. And it appears to be a battlefield. And the small figurines fight and battle with one another, felling others, stepping on some, returning to the snow, others popping up. But then eventually there's a line of figures that kind of walk out of the far side of the edge of the table and take shape. These hulking individuals in armor, carrying tower shields and weapons, and they create a line that this huge wave of automatons and what appears to be other mercenaries charge at. And as they charge and collide, it all explodes into a dusty, swirl of snow and snowflakes. Roz, Melody, please roll d20s.
11.
15.
Okay. Well, at this point, I hope you guys know what these are for. Record those, and at any point in the campaign, you can substitute a roll with that number. And once you do, it is expended. Well, it seems as if both of you have much to do in your futures, many people to see, and some of you to fight. A appropriate glimpse into a future rife with war. But it seems as if you both will end up flourishing, regardless of that. Do you have any questions, perhaps?
And all of this that you're doing is, so far as you can tell, it's real. You're not just entertaining us.
I animate the snow to show what it is I can divine. Things that I can see, but cannot show directly. Therefore, I use this as a medium to allow others to see what I see of their futures.
All right. Any questions, Melody?
No, not exactly. I've just never seen the fates so distinctly before. It's quite masterful, quite beautiful.
Thank you. Nothing then?
I think that I'm done, personally.
I think it'd be a little unfair if I asked for a personal fortune after that. There's other people in line.
You could do that, but you would have to wait in line again. As a matter of fact, I think one of your companies is already doing that.
Put in, Russ? And Audie will kind of hold out her hand.
Roz will take Audie's hand and stand up.
We'll head back out.
Okay. And, you exit the tent. It is noticeably warmer outside. You begin meandering away. You see Lilith, who has gotten back in line. About halfway up the line.
Thanks for humoring me, Roz.
Of course. You hear what you wanted to hear.
We never really had a fortune teller in Greenwood. And the ones that always passed through seemed a bit charlatan, you know. It's felt a bit different.
If you really want a fortune reading sometime, you could probably ask Callista.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
What do I...
she's here, just not physical or tangible.
That's true. I suppose I wouldn't want to ask Callista to take over Lilith or anything like that. I wouldn't want to make it uncomfortable. That's a good point.
Right, well, speaking of Lilith,
Hey, how'd it go?
went fine. We're gonna fight. Apparently, use our fortune.
Not unexpected for your fortune.
Of course not. I did walk in there in full armor. Kind of look like I'm going to fight.
And giant tower shields.
We happen to know a bunch of people that favor giant tower shield. Though it would be interesting if those were completely unrelated.
No, they're related. They're definitely related. Right, anyway, I'm going to go take your cloak and enchant it. Bye!
Wait, what?
Bye!
What's she doing?
Enchanting my cloak, apparently, and he kind of glances over her shoulder, watching Roz leave. The one that I intend on giving to her later.
Oh, that cloak, so she still doesn't know.
No. Well, I mean, she's spending some money on herself for once.
She'll be absolutely gold when she realizes the cloak's hers the whole time. Well, if you want the company, I'll stand in line with you. Otherwise, I was gonna go see what my family was up to.
You know, I'm always glad to have your company, but I think you should spend some time with your family while everyone's having fun, right?
Yeah, I'll see if anybody's fallen apart yet or passed out to have a nap. It's been quite busy here. I don't think Greenwood's ever been this busy.
I'm sure I'll be back out there again soon. If you need any help with the kids, just let me know.
I will do. And Audie will bounce off into the crowd.
Okay. What is Corona up to?
After we, were there together for a little bit after, getting the potion from Star, I think, I think she would probably go back to the tent, honestly, if nothing else, to drop off the huge chest that she got from Star. Then after that, probably considering the time of day that it probably is approaching, she'd probably grab lunch. But she's probably honestly done with the festival for today after she finished all her business and stuff.
Fair enough. Okay. So, I said, yeah, gonna go drop off some stuff, and they're just gonna go, find your way to the Dusty Daisy to get some lunch.
Yep, get some lunch, and then from there on, probably nothing too exciting. Read, study up on medicine, yada yada.
Okay.
She's gonna take it easy the rest of the day.
That's reasonable. Then yeah, inevitably let me know how much time you spend reading that book.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just scoot on over to to Lilith, who's waiting in line then. And time will proceed. And eventually, you will find yourself back in the same position you were before, Lilith. The flaps of the tent will open on their own and beckon you inside, just like before.
So pause a moment and just say inwardly, all right, well, I don't think I exactly hid my intentions from you. Thought you might enjoy something like this, considering your talents, Callista.
Well, the dragon certainly has a certain flair. I'll give her that. But it is yet to be seen if they'll be able to read the future of a ghost. Given that I don't really exist in the same sort of space you and your friends do.
Only one way to find out. Can walk a few feet in my boots.
Well, take us in.
We will step inside.
Welcome back, child. I'm
Hello.
assuming you want to ask for a reading for one of your passengers.
I see you've noticed that they're there.
It is a rare thing to have ghosts following a living person around like that, yes?
You guessed correctly. One of them happens to be a fortune teller themselves. I thought it would be nice.
There is an arcane spirit among them. I can sense that. So, you wish for me to read their fortune and see what the future holds for them?
If you can.
It will be considerably more challenging than others. But I am willing to try.
Yeah, I appreciate it. She'll take a seat.
Well, you've been here already. In collaboration with your ghost passenger. Consider their future, the things that this ghost would wish to know. Place your hands on the table with your palms facing towards the ceiling. And once you have done so, I will begin.
Well, Callista, any burning questions?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I have a very simple, selfish one, which is whether or not if I'll ever get my real body back.
All right, then.
But I'll keep it a little bit more vague than that. It often helps to not have too specific a desire when reading fortunes.
She will place her hand palm up.
Okay. Yeah, you feel Callista kind of like settle in on the forefront of your mind. You feel her thoughts a lot more vividly than normal, which is you can kind of always sort of feel both of them on their on your peripheries. But you kind of only sort of get very broad sweeping acknowledgments. Callista's a lot more obvious than like Bellathor. Bellathor's will only ever come up if either if you're attuned to him and you see an interesting plant, if you see an interesting plant and you're not attuned to him, or something that catches his attention that will bring him to the forefront. Otherwise, Callista, you tend to hear like more side comments of, oh, that's interesting, things like that.
Use my Twitch chat.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, you now much more readily, in this position she's settled herself into, you can kind of hear the intonations that she's sort of putting out for Ifrit into to sort of, tap into. And just like before, with your palms on the table, with your hands on the table, palms up, Ifrazin will do the same. A slight wind begins, and it gathers into a mist that turns gray. This time, the clouds turn quite dark, and the wind becomes quite strong, and you can feel the gathering, the sort of tingling on your exposed skin of a storm gathering, and it begins blizzarding inside the tent. Snow's gathering all around you, more than just on the table. The temperature drops to the point where it's noticeably cold. Kind of like how you'd want a blanket inside when you don't want to quite turn the heat on during fall, but you know, it's a little cold. Eventually, in the large mountainous gathering of snow on the table, sections of it kind of, slow away. Slough away? Which one of those is correct? Falling off.
Sloth.
Sloth? Is it really sloth?
Mm-hmm.
I like it less that it's sloth. Anyway, large sections of the snow kind of fall away, revealing various other, objects and patches that are kind of creating themselves, the ice that's condensing from the particles of snow and the snowflakes. And it takes considerably more time creating what looks like an environment. You get this feeling, looking at it, that you can see that there's a bunch of like natural rock formations that have been built up, things that are kind of rounded and curving and reach up towards a ceiling that the snow simply can't make. Details that make you realize, this is probably on the inside of a cave. But then there's also several structures that have very sharp edges, and several geometric patterns, squares and diamonds carved into them that look wholly mortal made. And perhaps a ruin in a cave somewhere. But then there is a platform amidst all of this in the center, surrounded by 4 pillars of like various levels of diamond-shaped pyramids that gather up towards the top, where there's these small spinning snowflakes to represent something that didn't quite clarify. And standing on the platform appears to be you, Lilith. And as you see the figure standing there, there's the figure reaches out a hand towards some distant figure not seen within the diorama, and suddenly everything explodes. The snow just bursts outward, just destroying the scene that was created. The temperature begins to rise again, and the snow recedes some, and then naturally kind of melts away, but so too does the moisture it leaves behind. Everson looks across the table at you with their alien draconic eyes. Well, it seems as if your journey will take you to a place that is related to the desires of your passenger, but also has a truth related to why the passenger sticks with you. But there was an apex in that vision, in that line, that thread, if you will, that didn't allow me to see any further. Thus and with their hands they sort of gesture to all the snow that's slowly melting around. That didn't allow me to see it any further than what we had there.
Very interesting. It has me curious, and a little concerned that we're blocked out. Dire, just out of curiosity, did
Mhm.
I recognize the architecture at all?
You could make a history check.
I do have this from my. That didn't link any of the text, but
But what does the text say? I'm just going to your sheet real quick.
it's for when I enter a ruin or dungeon. But
I don't think it applies here. The features weren't super explicit. So this would be, like I said, a history check, and you might be able to pull up like a piece of obscure cultural, knowledge as to what might have been responsible for that ruin.
gotcha. Well, for my roll, inspiration to reroll. 22.
Pretty good. Unfortunately, it doesn't dredge up a perfect answer for you. But with your general knowledge of a lot of cultures and the way that they build and the ways that they've left behind various parts of civilizations, while you might not know exactly what that is, you do know the style in which everything was built, specifically how everything had very hard lines and edges, and used a lot of geometric patterns. It has a very strong dwarven influence, but the style in which it was made is not what you would consider a modern dwarven influence. So much so that you don't even think it's like ancient Utgard. You think it would be tied to a group of dwarves that had moved away from their homeland and created a society somewhere else. So if nothing else, when an opportunity arises, you have a little bit of information to go do some research on.
And she'll just comment on that because she's a nerd. Looks like very ancient dwarven architecture, not Midgardian though. Sorry. Thank you. This is quite a bit to go on, actually.
Well, I'm glad to have been able to provide something for you and your passenger. Which is to say, I can't do anything, but I do know of somebody within our influence, our circles, if you will, that might be able to give your passengers an opportunity to live outside of, your body. That is to say that they would no longer be a part of you, and they would therefore be somewhere else. But in case either of them were seeking refuge elsewhere, something physical, there's somebody that we know that we could point you towards.
I mean, yes, please. I won't answer for them, but I'm sure both of these, some more older than other spirits, would like to not be trapped inside me.
Very well. It is a great distance from here, back in our land of Terracon. But if you go there and you seek out Diaby, the spiritualist, they are a dragon of considerable learnings in regards to the dead and those past, and have gifts well suited to peculiar natures such as yours.
Wonderful. She kind of takes out her notebook and just writes the name down. Diaby. Great. Thank you. I'll let you get to your other fortunes.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the festivities.
She will head out.
Okay. As you exit the tent, you can feel that Callista's kind of dropped back from that very prominent position. Is still kind of hovering where you'd expect her to. And after you kind of take a couple strides away, you just hear her kind of let out a long breath, a long breath that is clearly is not real.
Everything okay?
Oh, well, I'm fine. Fortunes are often cryptic and indistinct. I just can't say that if we pursue that one, I would rather not. It feels a little perilous.
Yeah, it did seem like something big happened. But looked like me reaching out.
Mm-hmm. And while the dragon's claim is not wrong, in that sometimes reading fortunes can suddenly end and usually have a bit of a physical impression on the world around you, that could have also just been you exploding. That would also bring the vision to an abrupt end.
I would prefer to remain unexploded.
Yes. Me as well, given our shared fate and all that. Just a consideration that it isn't always so simple. And when it comes to dealing with ancient societies and relics that they may or may not have come from, we don't exactly know what all of it will do when it all comes together.
Which is really all just to say we need to figure out what exactly this thing's going to do. Assuming that there are 4 other ghosts that end up joining me. Wow, that would be very loud.
Yes, I'm sure we can find some mutes along the way. Or a few that like being abused to be quiet. I'm sure we can make it work.
Well, if you find somebody else to tease other than me, I suppose I'd be fine with that.
Well, time to go look in some very weird places for ghosts that would have died in unusual ways that are unusually quiet and looking to be dominated.
Going to bluff for no reason, just go about walking through the camp.
Mm-hmm. Roz.
Oh, yeah?
Well, you were off somewhere in a hurry.
Yeah, sorry, I just got a little distracted by the conversation about Callista trying to find a ghost to dominate. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
yes, Roz is off to take Lilith's cloak. She wants to go get it, bring it back, and get it enchanted with a protection enchantment.
Sure. A short trip to and fro. Gonna go wait in the queue to have it to have the magic workings done.
Yep.
Okay. The line is long. There are, although admittedly not as long as other lines, given that the only people that are in line here are people who can afford to be here. So it's a good amount of mercenaries. But eventually time passes, you get through the queue, and you arrive at the table, where, Rathmanus, and a small animated statue, is there. And they both kind of simultaneously plant their hands on their hips and turn to look at you. So, what is it you need?
Mr. Rathmanis, sir, I have a cloak that I would like enchanted with protection, please.
Very well. A simple enough enchantment to do. Let me see the cloak.
Roz is going to hand over the already ruined cloak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you seem kind of, kind of unfurl it and give it a quick clap and then lay it out over the workspace. You'll see the figurine, the statue, will kind of walk around it, inspecting it, and then you'll hear, wait, no, hang on a second. This looks like it's already been enchanted. Hey, Rathma, come over here. It's right here. And it's, like, standing on top of it, like, pointing. Yeah, so it has. Don't worry, it's not a problem. This enchantment that's currently on it is already relatively simple. By my standards, I can still enchant it with a protection spell. It will increase the cost a mild amount, though.
All right. How much is a mild amount?
What did I quote you?
600.
Okay, yeah, 100 more silvers than the normal protection enchantment would be. It's to account for the more complex nature of basically weaving two spells together into an item.
I don't suppose I could talk you down from that price. 600's a lot.
Yeah, 600 is a lot. And how would you like to talk me down?
I don't know exactly what it is that drives or motivates you. I just want to say this cloak is for my girlfriend, and she means the world to me, and I think you met her?
I've met a
Her
lot of
name's-
people tonight.
She's a blue-haired elf named Lilith.
Yes, I've met Lilith. Your girlfriend, huh?
That's right.
Is this a surprise?
I did tell her I was going to do it, just in case she wanted to try to stop me, but,
Well, you got here and waited in line for some time, so clearly not.
Look, I have close to that, I just don't have the full 600.
So what it boils down to Rathma, she's asking you to do it for love. Do it for love, Rathma. And he just glares at the statue. Ignore him. Make a persuasion check.
You got it. It's pretty good. 19 plus 3.
Oh.
22.
Okay. He'll hold up the cloak kind of in front of him, sort of like interposing between the two of you, and then he'll look over it at you. You'll look at the cloak again. Yeah, the Lilith girl's pretty nice. Alright, I'll do it for you at the normal cost of the enchantment.
Thank you. Thank you. It's yours.
Mm-hmm. Just put it in the box.
Might as well give the payment. Before you go, though,
Yep.
this isn't something that I know you're going to do right away. You're familiar with Valisai Paladins, right?
I've heard of them, yeah.
Have you heard of a man named Lucius?
Can't say I have.
He's a Valisai Paladin whose armor has been almost entirely destroyed, and I think you're the only person that I will ever meet who could repair it. For the future, what would you want to fix it?
Depends on the damage. Depends on the era the armor is from. Valisai enchantments are not easy things to work on. The smith work I can definitely do, but it's the magical protections laid onto them after the fact that is more difficult, especially since it tends to be more in the divine nature of things, which is a little outside my general wheelhouse. Something I'd more have to rely on that little crap for. And he points to the figurine. Raphma, we're gonna have to talk to you about manners again, especially when you're talking to me, your master. You can't just call me that. We have an apprentice-master relationship. But you have to at least respect me a little, even though you're older than me by a number I probably can't count to. I'd probably die even as a god if I did. And the statue walks up to the edge of the table and looks up at you, Roz. It's like a 12-inch tall statue of honestly like a pretty normal looking dude, just like a 20-something, messy hair. That's it. Miss, Valisai work in general's pretty complicated, as my apprentice has noted. It would take a lot of work to restore one. It might even be better starting from scratch. Really depends on what happened to the armor, what broke the enchantments, availability of materials. Valisai are one of the few cultures that managed to weave adamantite and mithril together. So it's a complex problem. Very interesting that you managed to bring it here to a circus run by dragons in the middle of nowhere. If we could see the armor, probably give you a more direct answer. Otherwise, big ol' question mark. It's hard. That's the answer. It's hard.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it to go grab hundreds to thousands of pounds of metal just to drag it here for you to give an appraisal, but a lot is a lot more than I have, so I'll keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. Although, if, you could maybe tell us where it is, I might be able to send something to go take a look at it. So that way we can at least give you a realistic, answer to maybe keep ear, eye, nose open for later in terms of trying to fix it.
Oh, it's in the Immortal Bastion mercenary camp.
Hmm.
The refuge.
Mm-hmm. Do they have like a symbol or a sigil or a banner or something?
Yes, they do.
Yes. Can you crudely draw it here on the table? Specifically, crudely.
You want it to be crude.
I'm to be honest with you, you don't look like you're very artistic, so I assumed. If you could, sure, go for it.
No, I'm going to give you a crude drawing.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Or else I'll draw the bastion symbol on the table.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good.
Yeah, okay. Great. Raphma, send a thing. Do the thing. Yeah, I'll get around to it. Yeah, even if I could, the amount of time it would take to fix, I would have to take it with me. So perhaps the next time we come through, or if, as I've mentioned to your girlfriend, if you ever visit Terracon, it could be something that we could think about. As a stopgap, I'd suggest perhaps trying to go find a Valisai smith. Some of them probably still exist. They might be wandering like your friend is, but probably still out there.
Easier said than done, but all right, thank you. This is still a lot more answers than I was hoping for.
Mm-hmm. The cloak will be delivered to your camp by the time we leave sometime tomorrow.
Right, understood. Thank you. And I'd shake your hand. Your hand is very small. Can I just use a couple fingers?
Oh, you mean me? Just one finger is fine, I guess, if you really want to shake the hand of a statue.
Shake the hand of the statue?
Yep.
Shake Rachmanus' hand?
Yep.
Is that a line?
Yep. You shake the finger of the statue, you have a D4 on your next ability check.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. And it goes without saying, Raphma's handshake, very, very, very firm. It's kind of like,
With hands.
yeah. And he's got like a Titan grip, like just like big old mitts. Which is a funny thing because it's a choice, given that they this is not their real form. You know, he polymorphs into that form. So, yeah. Okay, you scurry away after making that drop off. What direction are you heading in?
I think Roz's goal is to spend the rest of the day with Lilith, and if she can drag Lilith toward the Immortal Bastion, with Lucilla and Lucius as well. Just
Okay.
partying, dancing, whatever they want to do.
Right. I follow. Okay. I also, again, real quick, Lilith. What is Lilith's remaining plan?
I think at this point she's gotten all the things she wanted to do out of the way, so she's willing to just be dragged along, enjoy shows and games and rides and all that stuff for the rest of the evening.
Okay. In which case, we go to Melody, where after wandering around the fair a little, partaking of some errant snacks that are politely offered to you, and eventually, after going through a couple of tents, finding the gaggle of individuals that is your family, of which you will note both Titan and Lotus have kind of attached themselves temporarily to help manage all the various kids who have now gotten back together, along with a couple of other children from Greenwood.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a bit of a sight to see as you sort of arrive. And you notice a couple of things are a little odd. So other than the magical candy kind of, exacerbating certain bad habits, or good ones, I suppose, sometimes, it appears as if those that received face paintings, some of them also have different types of effects, such as allowing one to blow like fire out of their mouth and nose. And it's just constantly being done to the point of excess. And there's, like a flaming snot bubble that comes out and then pops, and a bunch of little fire droplets spatter everywhere, and people shriek and call it gross.
Generally harmless, like not catching things on fire.
Yeah, harmless.
Okay.
Harmless. Just gross. But there they are. There's your whole gaggle of family. Enjoying themselves.
Yeah, like I said, Audie would want to check in on her mother and basically see if she needs to trade off, if she has things that she needs to go do. Basically, just seeing how she is.
Audie, you know I'm fine. We're having a good time here. There's so much to do, so many things to see, and honestly, this is more than enough of a break from the normal day-to-day stuff in the camp so far.
All right. But I got you a bit of a gift. Do you want me to wait till we're back at camp tonight, or do you want... I can't wait giving gifts. That's why I had to tell you about it right now.
Then give it here.
Right, Hel? And she'll pull out the brush set. Like, I know you had to leave yours behind, and I remember how much you liked brushing your hair and brushing our hair, and well taking care of us, so... And she presents it to her.
She takes it and holds it in front of her and kind of like turns it end over end and looks at all the various pieces and parts, and you can tell she's like very thoughtfully considering like all the little pieces of it, and you can tell that there's a bit of obvious recognition of it's similar to what she had.
Mm-hmm.
And you just hear her go, "Oh, Melody, this is great. Thank you so much. This is a lovely gift." And she just hugs you, like, no prompting.
Yeah, and Audie would squeeze her back just as tight. And when the embrace breaks, she'll be like, "Oh, and one last thing. I suppose this one's a bit more for Greenwood, but I'm going to give it to you, and you can use it either as my mother or as representative Greenwood." And she pulls out the half of the sending stone. and gives it over to her.
Okay.
You can send us a message, a very short message, when we're out on missions. If you need to let us know of something urgently, or the other way around, if we need to tell you something urgently to tell the camp when we're out. Once per day, but it's better than nothing.
All right. Are you sure this wouldn't be better with you and your friends? So you could communicate if you ever got split up.
And she kind of thinks about it. I think that's wise. And Audie kind of has this very look of implicit trust. Like, if that's what her mother thinks, she's right on board.
Hmm. She will pick up one of your hands and put the stone back into it and just kind of curl your fingers around it. Any news that would be worth sending to you while you and the others are away from camp? Probably can afford to wait so as to not distract you from what you're currently doing. That way, I think it would more likely guarantee all of your safe return.
All right. That's completely fair. We'll take it on a mission by mission basis then. There might be something that's worth leaving a message behind for our sake, getting back to you. And she's clearly
Possible.
just poking fun a bit, and she's grinning.
Well, you going to run off and return to your friends then?
Well, I was actually going to take some of this stuff back to camp. Do you have anything that you need me to drop off?
She stops and turns and looks at the whole gaggle of kids.
Or someone, for the matter.
Yes. I think there are two that would be worth carrying back. One notepad I don't have opened up. The two would-be swordsmen, your protectors, if you will. They are.
Did I get their names?
Yes, you got their names, and I have their names somewhere too. I just don't have the doc open right now. They are currently holding themselves up by leaning on their wooden swords. Like they're kind of like half nodding as you and your mom are talking there.
Yeah, excellent. Then Audie would kind of call to them. Because, you two, time to get back to camp. It's part to get rest.
Yeah. And the other one kind of like nudges the other one, and they both kind of half awake look at each other and then look up and kind of register what you said, but they just sort of fall in line behind you.
And she'll keep an eye on them. If it looks like they're gonna fall over, she'll support them. I don't know if she can quite carry them.
You could carry one of them.
Okay.
But you could not carry
looks like
both.
they need it.
Well, one is definitely more awake than the other. Given that outside the circus area, it is still downpouring. One of them probably needs a little extra help.
Okay.
But okay, you're gonna go deliver some kids and take some stuff back. And after that, what is Audie going to do?
She was actually going to, probably on the way back, she'll look over to Covert's table, and if she sees him there, she's going to stop by on her way back out to the Daisy.
No, he's distinctly absent from his desk.
And she grins. She's really hoping that he's doing something either at the festival, or knowing him, possibly taking meetings, or maybe just hiding and reading a book. But she's glad that he's at least off duty.
Yes, it appears he's given himself some time off.
Yeah. Yeah, then if that's the case, she'll probably, like I said, go meet up with the others. With it being so rainy, probably go to the Daisy, get something warm to eat. Because at this point, she's only eaten junk food and would really like a meal.
Yep. Protein is good for you. Honestly, anything's better for you when all you've consumed is sugar.
Magical sugar.
Well, unfortunately, you didn't eat the magical sugar that counts as a full day's meal. So
Correct.
yeah, okay. You stop at the Daisy, grab lunch for yourself. Okay. We're kind of at a crossroads for everybody. To which I will ask the question: what with the remainder of the day does anybody wish to do? Either find other NPCs to talk to, or if you just kind of want to hand wave everybody enjoys their time, spends time with friends and family and loved ones, and then we can kind of just roll on to the close of the day.
That's good with me.
That works for me.
Yep, that's
I got
also good
nothing.
with me.
So, yep.
Okay. Then tidying up on the end of the day, Zhao, how much time did Corona spend reading the book?
Probably 5 hours. Because I'm gonna split 10 hours between the manual that I got from Bandit and 10 hours on the book that Titan actually has, just to be fair.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
5 hours total.
All right. Keep track of it, as I know you
Yep.
are. Okay. End of day stuff. Anything of note for anybody?
At the end of the day, Roz has to give Lilith her gifts. The
Mhm.
lacy black dress worth 15 silver and the sapphire necklace worth 125.
How did I know that you were going to spend a bunch of money on me?
I spent a lot more than that on you, but you're not going to see the cloak yet. That's coming later by delivery.
Well, this is oddly quiet.
I got a discount on it.
That's good.
You're not telling me something.
What do you mean?
I mean you're not a good liar, Lilith Elana.
I am
She's
great at lying.
That's an even worse lie. What are you not telling me?
Nothing.
I'll let it go, but I'm not going to forget.
So you put the necklace on me?
Of course I will. I figured the sapphire would look really good with your hair. And I hope silver's your preferred metal.
Yeah, I like it more than gold.
Fasten the necklace onto Lilith. Beautiful. Just like you.
You know, you're a sweetheart sometimes.
Oh, I'm a sweetheart all the time, but thank you for noticing.
No, not all the time. Sometimes you're something else.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but it's not a sweetheart.
No, go on, say it.
I think I want to say brat.
I have no idea what you're talking about, first off. Secondly, how dare you call me that? And thirdly, I'm going to bed.
Sleep well.
No. This grabs Lilith's wrist. You're coming too.
Fine. But we're going on a mission tomorrow, so I am trancing.
Fine, I'm not gonna knock you out.
I didn't think you were going to. Now I feel like I have to worry about that in the future.
The rest can be hand waved. It doesn't need to be talked about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just Callista goes, "Oh, honey."
What's that wisdom score again?
And
Yep, that tracks. Okay. Any other takers? Close of day.
Nothing special for me.
Does the rain happen to let up at all?
Great question. It does. By the end of the day, I would say probably past like 6 p.m., the rain is almost completely stopped. Everything is drenched. There are deep puddles everywhere you walk. People are just kind of waterlogged and a little unhappy about how heavy this rain was, and it's uncomfortably humid. But there's no more rain falling.
Okay. Audie will probably prep a bit of a fire to help dry out anything that might need drying.
Mm-hmm.
And although yeah, I guess it's humid and warm. I'm thinking like cold rain. Because she was gonna get some like apple ciders or something from the Daisy to bring to like warm people up, but they won't need to be warmed.
Nope.
So
You can bring cold drinks.
yeah, she might do that. Figure out something flavorful to give people, and yeah, kind of stokes a fire and maybe gets people talking about what they saw today, and you know, not really wanting the revelry quite to end.
Fair.
Make it feel a bit like being back at Greenwood.
Yeah. Just make a charisma check for me.
Sure. There's my skills. That's net 20 for a 24.
All right. You would.
I would.
Unsurprisingly, Melody, you're very good at creating a upbeat and positive atmosphere. To which, while several people come and go, in and out of the carnival and the circus, because free food is tempting, and games are fun, and music is fun, and dancing is fun, and seeing cool inventions is fun. People come back exhausted and weary and just wanting to sit down, and it's those people who have come back over the course of the day that you just spend time with. You keep those high spirits that they returned with going on throughout the night. And several people are really, provided an opportunity to do just like what you wanted, which is have a moment to themselves to kind of forget that they're, in a war camp, waiting for the other shoe to drop. But instead, they just kind of feel like they're back home, able to just rest and relax and laugh and just enjoy themselves. Okay. Closing comments for the day?
Quick last question.
Mm-hmm.
If she was fetching some pictures from the Daisy, how much would you think?
Like how many?
How many do we have in Greenwood?
How many people? I think I think it's 40 people in Greenwood, but
Okay.
a third of that is children.
Yeah.
Children and teenagers, so probably drinks for 25 people roughly.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking to just do like a drink per head, you could easily do that for like, hang on, rough math. Really rough math. My brain is so slow. I'd probably say about 3 silver.
3 silver for the crowd?
For 25 people, yeah. If everybody gets 1 drink, 3 silver.
Okay.
We're not talking about anything special or fancy, just a cold
Yeah.
frothy something.
Okay, she would probably get then 5 silver worth of pitchers,
Okay.
just because it's easier to carry than
Mhm.
a flat of mugs.
Well, I mean, yeah, you were gonna get pitchers no matter what.
Yeah.
Because
And
no
so
one's
some
gonna be
people
like,
want a
here's
little more. And
here's 25 mugs of ale. Don't drop it on your way back. Har
good
har.
luck.
With all the mud. But yeah, 5 silver. I mean, more than doubles. More than doubles that.
Mhm.
Yeah, no problem at all. Last time, anything else? Before the day comes to a close.
Nope.
No? Okay. In which case, everybody will find their ways back to their respective places of rest. With thoughts of your next mission on your mind and the joy and ache of activities from today, along with lighter coin purses, but many things to show for it. And you all go to sleep. This is also an appropriate time for us to take our break. And so we're going to do that. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Bye-bye. Or see you later.
Bye.
We're back. Hello. Welcome. The day just concluded. A day of fun and festivities and sales and purchases, all of which was intended by the magical draconic merchant Star. Which is to say, yes, take a long rest if you haven't. You should. And this is day of mission. So what are your preparations leading up to it? And when you have time and opportunity. You also technically get to pick your start time to do a mission, but it is assumed when you pick a mission that you go after it in a short period of time thereafter. So preparation. What do?
How soon do we want to head out for the mission? Do you just want to get it like 8 a.m. right away?
That's good with me.
Yeah. Give us some time to warm up and have breakfast and that, and then head out.
Cool. Armor up, get breakfast, go mission.
Okay. Yeah. Fine by me.
Silly question.
Uh-huh.
How long does attunement take?
A short rest.
Oh, okay. So I can attune this.
Yes.
Excellent.
Lilith will attune to her cloak as well.
Yes. Which would arrive outside Roz's tent in a plain wooden box with a sigil burned into it of 2 cogwheels and a dragon's head in profile kind of resting on top of them.
Well, Roz will just open the crate, get the cloak, give to Lilith after getting out of Lilith's tent to go to her tent to get her mail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is normal lesbian stuff.
Of course.
Accidentally moving in.
Mm-hmm.
These tents are known for being very spacious.
I mean, it's fine. You guys totally don't have a magical cottage that you have not been in yet. Still waiting for that.
And you see, we've been told it would be in poor taste to set up an awesome cottage right next to a bunch of people who don't have their homes anymore.
Yeah, but no one was saying you couldn't walk somewhere downriver to take a gander at your house. Just saying. I'm excited because I think it's a cool item. I just want to see it.
It is a cool item, and I want to see it too.
Yeah, okay. So early morning, breakfast, gear, and just head out by 8 a.m. Please make note of things that you will be bringing with you and things that you won't be bringing with you. Something I assume all of you do prior to missions, because, you know, over encumbrance is a thing. And by it's a thing, it's not really a thing, but if I found out you're just carrying all of your belongings with you all of the time, I'm going to start penalizing you.
The unfortunate thing is that it doesn't differentiate between carried and in inventory, does it?
No.
Sadly not.
Okay. I will go calculate manually then.
The mission is expected to just kind of conclude pretty quickly, right? Assuming everything goes to plan.
I don't have a proper answer for that.
Okay.
You all were told that you're going to go provide aid to Shalcir officers that have been besieged in a outpost tower that is a little out of the way. However,
okay.
Yeah, they are under attack actively.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Time
Just to help
smash some
decide.
pots.
Yeah, I'm just asking to help decide whether I need to bring the tent or not and free myself from some weight. But yeah, that I think that answers the question.
yeah.
We don't need tents anymore. We've got a house.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
Assuming there's enough room for the house.
Yeah, I'm sure if automatons find your cottage, they wouldn't even know what to do with it. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, as long as your inventories are tallied, you all will eventually reconvene back near the teleportation gate, where the way mage is, as always, patiently awaiting any mercenary groups to approach. As previously discussed, Titan is with you, but Titan will have a small side mission that we will politely hook him into at some point. So last chances. Nothing else anyone needs to do, talk to, buy, or otherwise handle before leaving?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. In which case, you have your mission slip given to you by Covert. You head over to the way mage. You hand the slip over. The way mage acknowledges the slip, prepares the spell, hands you back the recall spell, the recall tag, and then with their staff locks it in place, turns it. You hear several mechanisms turn, and a portal flashes to life, of which on the other side, the familiar evergreen woods and dark stone mountains of the northern side of Kendrasa, a place not too far from what you would all call home. And you each go through. As per normal, via teleportation. For those of you that wish to continue entertaining yourselves with constitution checks, you may.
Slightly less fun since Titan's not here to fail with me, but 12.
Okay, yeah. You managed to actually keep your breakfast down.
This
Audie
is
got
a
a
new
17.
experience.
Yeah. You're getting better this time.
Yeah, I only feel a little dizzy.
Does Titan throw up?
I'm not going to decide that for him.
Fair enough. We need
That
to
will
remember
be
in 2 weeks.
Yeah. That will be, I'm sure I can ask Ben when he arrives tomorrow to roll a dice to find out. I'm sure we can get that sorted.
I couldn't remember if he had just stopped rolling and was like, Titan just hates teleportation.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I just know that after a point, I think he assumes when it's like normal teleportation via the way gate, that Titan almost always suffers for a little bit afterwards, after going through. Okay, so you arrive on the other side, to a place that is far colder than Saphinus. But to each of you who've spent much of their lives in Greenwood, it is a familiar cold. There is a strong wind currently blowing through and along this low kind of pass cut through a section of trees near the foot of this section of mountain range of the Titan's Horn. As you've discovered, primarily when teleporting, you arrive in an area that has enough of a clearing that kind of allows for all of you to kind of arrive in one spot in a group. You have distinctly 3 directions up the mountain. Well, I guess really 4, but one is heading away from your target. Up the mountain, down the hills, down the foothills from where you're currently located, or northward along the bottom of the mountain range. You were given a map with the most accurate coordinates reasonable for where the Shalseer outpost was located. You kind of got the feeling that this outpost, because the Shalseer are a policing force, as you all know, you had a pair, Shalseer, that regularly visited and made friends with everybody in Greenwood. They would pop by a couple times a year. They would remember people's birthdays, things like that. The Shalseer are a policing force that visit towns and get to know people. They have outposts all along major highways for people to stop in, report crimes, seek aid or help in any of the various forms, and also to dissuade ne'er-do-wells or individuals that would otherwise try to cause trouble along well-populated areas. So it's kind of strange that you would be sent to a Shalseer outpost that's kind of in the middle of nowhere, and that this isn't the normal kind of expectation for a Shalseer outpost. Which is to say, you were told that it is located from where you were going to be teleported to the northeast. So you more or less at this particular point have, like I said, 3 options. You've got the very long way, which is going down through the foothills, but the terrain will be less treacherous. You could head along the bottom of the mountain range, which is kind of like an in-between. It's a little less dangerous than ascending the mountain and trying to basically cut a straight line, but it is not quite as direct. Or, as just mentioned, you can choose to work your way through the mountainous terrain, having to do some climbing, some various like free climbing for individuals, maybe having to jump a couple of small gaps and find various goat paths to make your way there. The longer side of this trip is going to be a day. The shorter side of this trip, based off of your path decided and probably some checks, could be as short as 8 hours.
Right. Anybody have any suggestions?
Well, from the sounds of it, they were holding out just fine. I don't think we need to, climb a mountain to get there as fast as possible. Though I don't think we should just take our time and mosey along. Feel like the middle road might be best.
I agree. I think skirting the mountain is a good option.
Agreed. If there's anybody still there, they'll expect us coming by road. Skirting the foothills makes sense to me.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, for me to reiterate, are you taking the longest route but the safest, the middle route, and I know it's not the short route, so which are the other 2 options? Because I kind of...
Middle, I think.
Middle, okay. To clarify, not the foothills. You'd be traveling past the foothills if you took the long way around. This is above the foothills, but not quite on the mountain. Okay. In which case, you all are going to begin your trek. I hope you all have dressed appropriately. You would have known the location of where you were heading in advance, so I'm going to assume all of you have, at the very least, your regular Greenwood clothes. Because it is currently a crisp 1 degree, and as mentioned, with a windstorm that is currently brewing. So there's some cutting gales that are sort of traveling along this this slope that you're traversing. Okay, well, you're going to go for a time. The weather's not doing you any favors. It is slowing your progress a little, but not so dramatically. So I would like to, so you guys started at 8. We're going to advance 2 hours. Those of you present, roll d20s for me.
19.
17.
Oh boy.
14.
Okay.
Stop making me roll encounter dice.
Ooh,
They're so high.
18.
Woo! Wow.
Well, I'm glad I didn't contribute to this mess.
No, you didn't.
And thank goodness we don't have the additional pull of Titan, because it might be, knowing how this went, it would have been a nat 20.
Yeah, there was a distinct gathering trend there, yeah. I mean, in no particular order. I'm just going to start from... No, I'm going to start from how I received them. So, which was, correct me if I'm wrong, 18, 17, 19? No, not 18 was last. 19, 17, 18. In which case, you guys are traveling along this, like I said, this open track of rocky land, between coarse gravel, smooth sections of stone. From where you can tell, this wind is probably very common. It's kind of worn its way through. Below you, there are various trees, these tall evergreens that are kind of swaying with these harsh winds. It has been mostly quiet for like the first stretch of time here. However, as you all are moving along, there's a... Well, actually, before I hit you with that, I just want everyone to make perception checks for me. It's going to make it too easy on you.
5.
17.
10.
18.
Surprisingly, Lilith and Corona, as you guys are moving along, mostly just kind of bundled up, kind of pushing through the wind. The howling wind has drowned out most of the noises you'd expect from the nature around you, except there's a distinct sound that suddenly kind of cuts through some of it. It's being kind of washed out from it, but you both managed to catch this very distinct thrumming that is not natural, and is never really anything you've heard since you've lived in this area. It is distinctly mortal made, but you don't know where it's coming from yet. So what do you do?
I think Lilith will raise a hand to let the others know. There's something nearby, not sure where. Maybe we should hide?
Might be a
Hide
good
away.
call.
Yeah, let's do that.
That thrumming don't seem natural.
Okay. You basically have two choices. You can either make a mad dash down the hill to where there is greenery and tree cover, which will give you advantage on a stealth check, or you can head up a much shorter ways and hide amongst the rocks, but it will just be a normal check. The downside to choosing to go down the hill, you need to make an acrobatics check because it's going to be a bit slippery, and it will take twice as long to get there.
Ooh.
Whatever we do, we should do it as a group.
Where do we go?
Uh,
I'm not exactly good at hiding.
Clank, 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 clank.
Considering we could hear them, I think Lilith will go towards the quicker cover.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, so everyone runs up, looks for cover in the rocks. Okay. If that is the answer, all of you roll stealth checks, please.
All right, you ready for
Okay.
disadvantage +0?
Yeah.
Same.
Oh my gosh, it wasn't bad. I got a 13 as my lowest.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got a 9.
Lilith is doing a rogue things with a natural 20 for 26.
Someone had to.
I'll use a point for this one. I think it feels
Yeah.
appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah, I might do the same.
1d20.
Nope, still a 9.
It's
Oh, Roz, you have a 1d4.
true.
This
True,
is
it is for
technically
my
the next
ability
ability.
check.
Yeah. I'll use my own 1d for my adaptability dice just to boost this a little higher.
Okay.
16. Roz is somewhat hidden.
Okay, 17.
Yep. That's also what I got. For a 17 total. You all run to cover. Half of your party kind of hearing the sound of something that's so unusual. And then you realize as two large shapes descend out of the cloud cover of the higher parts of the mountain above you, these polished bronze aircraft that are flying by with wide wings and what look like a somewhat mechanical arm attached to the rear end that's sort of tucked up underneath it. They appear to be carrying each two different types of very large automatons, and they're sort of cruising by at a steady pace, this thrumming noise, quite loud and carrying over the smooth rock faces. And you sit there in your cover, breath held, waiting, anticipating, hands reaching for weapons at the ready. And they just keep on going, seeming to not notice you. I legitimately rolled a 1 and a 10. So, yeah.
Just to clarify, which direction did they come from? Is it behind us?
The south heading north. So yeah, along the same line as you all are traveling.
Not to shoot ourselves in the foot. Was that with advantage? Like your 1 and 10?
No. It was one check for each of them.
Okay.
Why?
Because I rolled a 9.
It's
I don't know
fine.
if you-
It's a group
Okay.
check.
Okay, great. Wonderful.
Yeah. It had to be an average of a 17.
Yay.
Which luckily they didn't.
I'd bet what silver I have left that those things are heading towards the Shelseer.
They are going that way, huh? You don't have much time to waste. We should just keep on going.
Yep.
But I was just gonna say we should keep an eye out for cover in case there's more. I'm sure I'm sure we'll hear them coming, but
They're pretty hard to miss.
Yeah.
But agreed, we should probably hurry.
Yeah, you all quickly recover, dust off a bit, and begin pressing onward back into the windstorm, following in the wake of the two Wyvern transport drones that just flew by, carrying their payloads. You travel seemingly uninterrupted for another hour. The terrain's getting a bit more variable now. It's not just a slope of which you have to kind of watch your footing for. You're having to make decisions, small sections where you have to either climb up or climb down and kind of return to an elevation to keep moving. These various kind of craggy regions where if you're not too careful, you would slip and slide and descend down a steep slope that would take you a little bit of time to recover from. So I want everyone, as you're kind of navigating through this area in this scenario, to make athletics or acrobatics checks, please.
Okay.
Athletics 17.
Very nice.
Acrobatics 17.
Athletics 25.
Oh, Corona.
Acrobatics 13 after using my last inspiration.
Oof.
Huh.
Okay. Like I said, the terrain gets a bit more unforgiving. It's now really, really pushing you all to try to keep up a reasonable pace and move through these areas and sections safely. It is without any issue as you manage to circum most of these difficulties in the somewhat unforgiving terrain, mostly through helping one another and securing each other's safety here or there, especially those who are much stronger climbers than others. Corona definitely showing off quite a bit here. That all that time spent training and preparing for a future that has not quite yet arrived is paying off in times like this. Helping even those such as Adi, who is not quite as physically adept as many of the other party here in this scenario. Which is to say, 13 was the DC to beat. And as such, your timetable has not been slowed. You were just finding yourself a little weary. Which brings me to my next point. You've been traveling for approximately 4 hours through this terrain and this windstorm, this cold weather. Based off of your exertion, I would like everyone to make Constitution saves against exhaustion.
Okay.
12 plus 6, 18.
Sufficient.
After using some inspiration, 14.
It's a 9.
18.
Okay. Everyone succeeds except you, Adi.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to take 1 point of exhaustion. It should be set in the sheets like this, but we are using the 2024 rules. So 1 point of exhaustion is just a -1 to ability checks, attack rolls, and saving throws.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, where would you even set the exhaustion?
The
left
top
of your
left of your
portrait.
sheet where the smiley face is.
Oh, the smiley face.
Yeah.
I see.
And
Okay.
and it does look like the sheet is arranged to work appropriately.
So -1
So
to
just
D20 and spell saves. Okay.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's such a happy smiley face. Yeah, for the record, don't click 11, it kills you.
I will not do that. I was just trying to see if I could actually see it change on my sheet, but I don't think it does.
Does it always stay a yellow smiley face?
Oh yeah, it changes the smiley face, but sometimes it'll actually change the numbers. But I think it's if I rolled the dice, it would auto add it. So I just have to keep it in mind.
Yeah, it should.
Because I'm rolling physical dice.
Yeah. Just basically look at whatever stage you're at, just subtract 1, as necessary. Yeah. Okay. You've all continued to press on. Audi a little worse for wear, which honestly I find pretty appropriate given so far Melody's luck in the various challenges that you've faced so far, being that she's kind of struggled to just overcome them, and so she's a little weary for this travel thus far. You get to a point where this path now kind of plateaus out a little. It expands at first about 100 feet across, and you can tell for a little bit the area between where the foothills stop and this crest begins kind of just travels onward for a while, where the terrain just becomes progressively more rocky. There's much more various outcroppings that are 6, 7, 8, 9 feet tall that kind of block vision of various sections where you can tell this pathway, if you were to keep walking along it, you'll have to end up winding behind and between some of these things, unawares as to what may or may not be in waiting. Which brings us to our next predicament. With this in mind, but with no indications as far as your passives are concerned to denote any danger, does anyone's behavior change when you've kind of reached this location?
Not Roz's.
I think Corona would probably ask Lilith, like coordinate with Lilith to see if she's okay with keeping like a sharper eye out to compensate, because Corona wants to make sure that Melody is okay, like along the way. She's willing to like go out of her way to make sure that she's okay.
Yeah, I can try and keep a better watch.
Thanks. Just let me know. You let anyone know, really. If you spot anything. And yeah, like I guess for future reference, just to commit to it now. If there's any like athletics checks, in the future, would it be possible to impose disadvantage on myself to impose advantage for Melody?
Yeah, I'd allow that.
Okay. 'Cause, yeah,
I'll even
that's-
broaden it. I'll allow it for any physical D20 contest for you to be able
Okay.
to switch that over.
Cool. Okay, perfect. But anyway, yeah, that's that's how Corona's behavior changes.
Okay.
He's just looking out for Melody a little bit closer.
Oh, that's nice.
She's chilly.
It's a little cold.
At that request, I think Lilith stays a little bit ahead of the group, just kind of scouting, I guess.
Perceiving, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Lilith, make me a perception check. Your strong suit.
She is perfect. Wow, I keep rolling really good. 18.
Oh,
Hell
pretty
yeah.
nice.
Her elf eyes see many things.
Mm-hmm. So, Lilith, you kind of take the lead of the party, looking around, even with a little bit of assistance from the various, ghosts in your head that occasionally like to point something out that seems unusual. Bellathor, when you go on these missions, is always constantly making mention of small plants that he sees that might be interesting to stop and look at, which normally, if you were to be directly attuned with them, might interrupt some of your duties. But luckily, nothing of particular note so far on this trip. Nothing that you haven't seen before in your time here in this area. However, your keen elven eyesight does reveal something to you as you're kind of looking ahead, even before you all get near that outcropping where it looks like it's going to begin getting a little bit tighter in terms of enclosures and space. You see a series of rocks kind of tumble down, which could be anything. The winds are strong. Anything could be knocked loose. But then what's unusual and kind of strange about it is that those same rocks kind of roll back up the same position that they came from behind one of the outcroppings.
Yeah, I think she watches them, she pauses when she watches them roll down, glances up to see if it was just the wind, and then she doubles back when she sees them rolling back up the hill.
Blink, blink.
We'll kind of put a hand up for everyone to pause when they catch up. Okay, this is going to sound really weird, but those rocks rolled down the hill and then back up.
So the rocks are animate, like marble.
Or it's some kind of weird magic is going on.
Right? What should we do?
Gonna be honest, I don't know.
Well, you could always descend into the foothills, go around. It'll increase the time it takes.
We could chance it and just keep going forward or take a detour.
They might leave us alone. Just passing through after all.
Well, how big were they? Were they like giant boulders or?
Mm-mm. Like, to you, Lilith, pebbles, small rocks, things you'd like skip on a lake.
And then small, fit in your hand.
Oh,
Yeah, didn't seem dangerous, just weird.
did sound weird. I mean, my vote is we just keep a sharp eye and we keep on moving. Personally,
I'll stick a bit closer just in case something does happen.
So
Sounds
you
like we're pushing forward.
pressing forward it is. Okay, you push forward. Against the wind, getting closer and closer to that section of various jutting rock that's going to make travel. It's going to subtract some difficulties and increase others, so it's going to more or less balance out in terms of your speed. But kind of right before you pass into and get right up to the entrance of, all of you feel something begin to vibrate under your feet. All the stone around you begins to move, and those bits of rock and dirt and gravel that have been kind of resting there are all sort of vibrating and hopping in place. And you all begin to watch as segments of it begin kind of rolling and tumbling towards the entrance of this stone pathway that you were looking towards. As you see a section of the rock break itself free and slowly pull itself up out of the dirt and stone and gravel, and it begins to take shape as it grows up into the size of a 14-foot tall towering earth elemental made of the same black stone that you're all so familiar with from this mountain range. You all have a moment to do something.
And I'm guessing it sees us, like it's staring at us.
It seems to have responded very purposely to your arrival, yeah.
Would any of us have heard of this phenomenon before?
I
Like,
mean,
is it normal in this area?
people can make nature checks.
I was gonna say I might have an argument. I don't know if actually I want that of a history check, maybe. It's the same for me. I was gonna ask, because Sophia spends a lot of time in the forest. I was gonna see if my sister had ever told me stories. But it's the same check.
14 from me.
You're welcome to choose history. Your information will just be different.
Oh, okay.
Roz got an 18 for nature.
That's a 9.
And what did you roll?
And it was going to be history in case maybe it's like stories of this elemental, but
well, you didn't really get anything in that regard. But that being said, those of you who rolled quite high, the 18 and the 19 respectively, For those, because you belong to families of various trades, especially those that eventually start, they range a little to sort of explore different places to either find new lands to cultivate for growing, or to find the appropriate trees that you've been given permission to harvest. Something a lot of the tradesmen of Greenwood were warned of, that if you wander too close to the Titan's Horn mountain range, further up the slopes, usually past the area where the small mine that Greenwood operated existed, that it was not uncommon to find an earth elemental that would pull itself free when individuals had wandered too close. Unfortunately, no one rolled high enough for me to provide any other tidbits, but this is not uncommon. It's just unfortunate.
Okay.
I would even provide the additional context for those of you that rolled again summarily those two numbers. That you would also be told that these elementals, by and large, do not respond to anything, and they tend to be very basic in that they act like animals that are protecting a territory, and anything that stumbles into it, they are going to attack. Which is to say, this is dangerous, that the thing you've walked into.
Well, if you didn't roll that high, it's just going to immediately blurt out. We mean no harm?
Do you speak rock?
No.
I don't think it gets through.
Okay. Just back away very slowly. We're just in its territory. That's all. We'll find a way around.
Nope.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. And Audie starts kind of slowly backing up and would point in a direction like, let's go that way or that way.
It begins moving towards you, and it is at a speed that most of you would consider a run, but since it does not have typical legs, it is hard to say that, but it is at a speed that is alarming. Sections of it is constantly kind of dipping below and resurfacing as if it can kind of meld itself between this physical present form and the rock beneath it, the very rock you were all standing on. It is moving towards you at 30 feet around. You have choices to make. It started 60 feet away from you. It has moved 30 feet towards you. It is 30 feet away from all of you.
At the risk of causing noise, although I'm sure this thing is going to cause noise on its own, can Corona choose to shoot a warning shot to kind of like intimidate it?
You can certainly try.
Okay. I'll just shoot a shot to expend ammo. Do I need to roll anything in particular for that?
Intimidation check.
Okay. So just rolling to expend ammo.
Mm-hmm.
Pay no attention to the number. Blah blah. Intimidation. Oh man, that's not that great. I'm gonna re-roll that with my last point.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll burn an adaptability die right out the gate. Okay, nice. So 23 total.
Okay.
I kind of imagine Corona is while everyone else is kind of like, deciding where to go and like kind of moving towards that direction, she is standing her ground and kind of like making sure that no one else is in the way of danger. and that's when it chooses to like speed up, and that's when she'll just like reactively take the warning shot, essentially.
Okay. Yeah, you pull out the you pulled off the shotgun, you level it at it, you pull the trigger and it belches this crack of thunder and fire, and it tears up a section of the earth just in front of its pathway. And it certainly had an effect in that everyone else's whose prey posture they were giving off, it seems to have squared solely up on you, Corona.
Okay.
So, others? We're kind of in a loose floating initiative.
Is it squaring up?
It's charging Corona now. Like, everyone else was kind of like, oh, I'm going to go a little bit this way. We're going to kind of try to slowly move away. Corona stayed, and it is clearly charging Corona.
Okay. Ruz is going to give up on trying to flee. It's time to fight.
I was hoping that Marble might have been able to have a conversation with it, but here we are, I guess.
Marble
Okay.
can't talk.
I can't talk to you.
I think at this point we're getting into combat positions.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna do one of these.
Hey, it's us.
It's all of you. And then I'm just gonna go quickly go do one of these. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm doing a thing.
Combat music.
One of these.
Oh boy.
Technically, we're gonna go over here. This is mostly just for you guys to be able to get into a combat state. So we have an initiative order. But we're gonna stick to theater of the mind in terms of just fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right.
roll
We can't
yourself.
update our own initiative. We have to roll it.
As far as I know, yeah. I can change the initiative value. You might be
Okay,
able to
good to know for next time.
if you can right click on yourself. If you can look at update combatant. I don't know if that's a setting you would be capable of seeing.
I don't think we are. No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Maybe a permissions thing, but honestly, this is just one of those things. I think initiative we just always just leave to the
Yeah.
brawlers. I think it's just easier.
All good.
Okay. Well, we officially begin combat. We're gonna start with Roz.
Right. I think the elemental was a bit more than 30 feet out from Roz. Is that correct?
So yeah, all of you. So for the sake of just keeping things really simple, as Once Upon a Time explained, since we're not doing a proper map, this is going to be a near and then a far, and then for every very attached to the far is 30 feet increments. So if they're near, in one turn you can move up to them. If they're far, you have to dash to reach them, and then for every far is another 30 feet, basically. So in this instance, Corona stood their ground. It was 30 feet away from all of you then. Corona stood her ground. It is now closing on Corona. You all moved 30 feet away. In order for you to get next to the elemental, you would need to dash.
Okay. Then Roz is going to activate her socketed ruby, turn that fire on, head of the Axe burst in flames, and move one step closer.
Okay. All right. Yeah, for the sake of keeping things simple, because it'll put you right next to the Corona. So we're just going to kind of use those lines to determine where people are. Okay. Next up is Corona.
Yep. Real easy turn. Action dodge. Bonus action reload.
Good, solid choice. Lilith.
This is a rocky, somewhat mountainous terrain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any outcroppings that I can hide behind within, like, 20 feet?
No, not within 20 feet. It's pretty open right where you all are. The only places you could reasonably hide is if you went past the elemental to where it arrived from.
Right. In that case, I will ready an action to shoot an arrow at it when it closes into melee.
Okay. Melody.
Yes, I missed the explanation about how far away it is.
From all of you, it is considered far. It is 60 feet away.
Okay. I mean, we're standing our ground, so I guess I can mock it? Technically, it's within range.
Uh-huh.
Right, yep, she's gonna try to intimidate it then to head back.
Yep. Yell at a rock.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know if it has any language limitation.
If the spell
I was
doesn't say
reading over the
anything,
spells.
it doesn't.
Perfect. Yeah, then Audie just pipes up. I just want to go around you. Just go back and be an avalanche somewhere else. Jeez, that's not the best the best insult I've ever leveled.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it although it need not understand you,
Yep.
it must succeed on a wisdom save.
It succeeds
All right.
with a natural 18 plus 0.
Yes, it does. Audie is clearly quivering as she tries to insult it. Not really sure that this is still the best idea.
Okay. The Earth Elemental's turn. It's going to close on Corona.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to attack Corona. Natural 18 for 26 to hit.
Oh, is this ranged?
No, it's right up on top of you.
Okay. I was just asking because
It's-
there was a pop-up that came up with my gloves of missile
Oh,
catching, so I was like,
yeah, well, we assume not all pieces of automation are perfect.
yeah.
It might be because there isn't a grid on this map.
That might do it.
That might be it. Yep. Okay. Yep. No, that's a hit. Assuming it's a disadvantage.
Actually, it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Good assumption. If you sustain that damage, which you haven't, we will roll a second time. Oh, that's 17 total.
Total, that's still a hit.
Okay. Which is 10 bludgeoning damage.
10. Okay.
Then it is going to.
Oh, I will let fly my arrow since it's right next to.
Oh, yes, fire
Corona.
away.
That's good. 22 to hit.
That'll hit.
That's going to be 16 piercing damage and 4 lightning.
16 piercing and 4 lightning. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you fire the arrow after it closes in on Corona and raises up one of these arms that sort of creates out of the rock as it attacks, all in one smooth motion. And you strike off a section of its main body, and you see just a bunch of rocks sort of splinter and scatter away under the crackling electricity of the arrow. It seems like a pretty sturdy creature, though. Hopefully, Corona's just as sturdy. It's going to take a second slam attack against you.
Yep.
This time at disadvantage. Attack. Disadvantage. 12.
No.
All right. It will
DC
miss.
17.
Rightfully so. You were ready for its charge. And while you've never fought something like this before, you weren't exactly
No.
you didn't exactly know what to do with it approaching you initially. You were ready this time, and you were able to dodge the big downward hammer swing of its somewhat unusual fist. But now back at the top with Roz and her flaming
Hey.
axe.
Roz would like to buddy cop with Corona. Would Corona like to buddy cop?
Absolutely.
All right. Buddy cop initiated. And then, very simply, Roz is going to attack the beast.
Lies.
23 to hit.
Yeah, that'll
that
do it.
hits. 7 plus 3 plus 7, 17 damage.
Very nice. You throw a heavy swing, cuts into the large, midsection of this creature that sort of pulled itself together. Hack away a section of the rock, tumbles away parts of the edges, kind of glowing from the fiery enchantment. It's sturdy. It's real sturdy. Corona.
Okay. I think as a means to help with bringing it down, point blank, she is going to dodge a second attack and kind of like just jut her shotgun up in its grill and shoot. So let's see. Not great.
That is going to miss.
Yep, that's okay. She will, however, use her bonus action to fire off both barrels
Okay.
this time. So we'll do it again. Okay, that's better.
That'll do it.
20 to hit. Cool. 4.
Hey, 4 is 4.
4 is 4. If it all goes through, then that's what counts. That is action, bonus action, and she is not moving from where she is. That's her turn.
Okay. Yeah, the sell off is not magical, right?
It is not. No.
Yeah.
Neither's the ammo.
Yeah. So you would make note of the fact, the first blast just, the pellets kind of bounced off of it, pretty harmlessly. The second one, which connects, you do see it manage to leave some marks on the larger section of its body, but it doesn't seem like it did a whole ton of damage.
Okay.
Lilith.
Just gonna take another shot. Ooh, even better than the last one. That is a 25 to hit.
Yep, that does it. That hits.
For 15 piercing and 3 lightning.
Very nice. 18 damage total. And another expert shot cracks through a section of one of its limbs. It temporarily kind of teeters and falls to one side, and it's got to rebuild itself to stand up straight again.
That'll be her turn.
Okay. Melody.
Yet again, she's gonna just kind of mock it a bit. She's really trying to get her voice under herself. It's okay, Rock for Brains. I told you to leave us alone. We really don't want to be doing this.
Okay.
Okay, wisdom save.
Wisdom save. It's gonna fail this time with a 4.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome, because we're wanting to give it its disadvantage on its next attack roll.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know it has that against Corona, but not against Roz?
Not anymore. Corona's not
Not
dodging.
anymore.
Oh,
Yeah,
not anymore. Excellent.
double the
That's
value.
only 1 point of damage, though.
1 point matters. Although
Yep.
you did just descend its health from 69 to 68. Just saying.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Ruined it.
Oopsie.
Did you
But
set its HP to 1?
yeah, I did. Yeah. Oops. Suddenly it dies. It could not take Audie's absolute barbarous sting. Anywho. All right. That's your turn, Melody. The elemental's turn. Corona really just pissed it off, so it's gonna keep going after Corona with a mindless sense of direction. A disadvantage thanks to Vicious Mockery. A 10, which is going to miss.
Yep.
And alongside Roz, acting as a physical shield, you're able to keep dancing around. It's going to throw a second big rocky fist at you.
Yep.
12, also a miss.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I like to imagine, like, the first one, it's swinging towards you. Roz kind of, like, uses her body to bounce you in another direction. You manage to separate in time for the fist to come down. But as the second swing comes wide, you have no choice but to sort of throw up to try to stop it physically, and then Roz gets behind you and sort of pushes back against it. You just both stop the fist attack bodily and push it back into its place.
Hell yeah.
Roz, it's your turn.
All right, let's see what Roz can do. That is 21 to hit.
Yep, that hits. Yeah, it's the
Or 18 more damage.
very nice. Yeah, we're in a broadside of the barn kind of scenario, you know. Big angry target. Corona.
Action dodge, bonus action reload.
Respect. Lilith.
Pew pew. Ooh. That's not gonna hit 9.
That is not gonna hit. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, it's gonna skitter off of its rocky exterior and just kind of clatter downhill. Melody.
Rinse and repeat. Just,
Make
Hey,
it cry.
are your feet made of rocks or something? Just get moving. You're really slow. It's quite embarrassing.
You roll a 5. It's gonna fail again.
Excellent. She's hoping she demoralizes it and that it actually just runs away. That's 3 damage this time.
Oh, big damage. Well, the elemental's just gonna keep swinging at Corona. At disadvantage because of dodging. And Vicious
Yep.
Mockery. Oop, that's a 1 and a 3, so that's a big miss.
Ooh, nice.
We're gonna throw a second one at disadvantage. Oh, dodged a crit with 16 to hit.
Yep.
Another miss. You guys are starting to realize that this elemental, and probably most elementals that are kind of left over from an era, a bygone era, are not intelligent creatures. They fight very simply. It's just a matter of brute force, of which when you apply your own brute force in retaliation to it, but with your intelligence, this creature collaboratively is a very simple beast to combat. Roz.
Hey, you know who else is a simple beast to combat?
Aha.
Rolling pretty hot. 15 plus 7.
Yep.
22. 10 plus 7, 17 damage.
Big damages. Corona.
This one, let me see here real quick.
You gonna punch a rock?
I might. Oh wait, no, I'm fine. Yeah, okay. Sure. Let's feature more than one size larger. More than one size. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Sure. Let's shoot it to start.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Nice. Yeah,
Hit.
definitely gonna hit.
Nicer damage.
Also nice.
Okay. And then hit a creature. Right. Okay, this is just bonus. Okay. We'll punch it as a bonus action. I don't know how this looks like, but it definitely hurts her hand.
It
Probably.
mostly just hurts your hand.
Yeah.
It's like if you've ever just thrown a bad punch, you just go, my wrist.
She's probably like trying to palm it after she like chunks away at it with the shotgun, but it lands in a bad spot. And
It's still just punching a boulder. Yeah.
exactly. But as part of it, actually, let me see if she can do this still. When you hit a creature, okay, so I missed. Okay, so I can't do that. That is fine. That is action and bonus action. That is a turn.
Okay. Yep. Fire away.
Oh, where did Lilith Godane go? That's 10.
Yeah. This arrow cracks up against its rocky hide, splintering the arrow.
That is her turn.
Melody.
And in this time, I have not thought up a better insult.
Mhm.
But
I like rocks for
Rather-
brains.
I haven't thought up any good insults that aren't puns, I should say.
That's perfectly fine.
Yes, I've got it. Hey there. I must ask you a question. You're a bit stoned.
I spit. I spit on my desk.
Not proud of that one. The double pun might not have been worth it, but let's see what the wisdom save says.
He's probably as hurt as I am from that. So let's see. A 6. He rolled a 6.
Awesome.
He's progressively increasing by 1 every save.
Hey, that's 3 damage.
Hey, when it's out of 4, that's good.
Yep. And disadvantage. She's just aiming for the disadvantage, just keeping it off its game.
Yep. Well, we're back to its turn. It's going to target Lilith again, or it's going to target Corona again.
Okay.
First slam at disadvantage due to Vicious Mockery. Oh, wow. Rolled really well. An 18 and a 19, so a 26 to hit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yep.
13 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And then the second slam. A normal attack. A natural 1.
Hey, nice.
Yeah, it doesn't know why, but it can't quite bring itself back together in the full force. It's almost as if its feelings are hurt. Roz?
All right. I rolled once. It's bad. I don't want to miss right now. Rolled again. Does 19 hit?
19 hits?
Great. How's the guy looking?
His shape, which was very distinct before, is significantly less. Now it's kind of like a bunch of angry rocks rumbling together in a space.
All right. Then let's go ahead and I'm going to add 2 additional dice from Ruthless Strike. I can add 1 per proficiency bonus. These are martial exploit.
Get him.
So I do an additional 10. I do 28 damage.
Oh. I mean, you read us out. How do you crush the elemental?
Roz is going to flip the axe over to the hammerhead, and seeing that it's just a big pile of rocks, slam once into the knee so it comes down to head level with its rough amalgamation of a face, and then slam the hammerhead into the rock with that pointy beak on the front and shatter what its face used to be.
Yeah. After that last piercing blow, it just comes apart. It tumbles. Pieces of it just kind of roll down the slope. Any magical force that was adhering this thing together releases, and it just becomes a pile of rocks that you all thoroughly beat up. That being said, I would be remiss to not at the very least speak up for Titan on this one and saying that an Earth Elemental would have something worthwhile to loot from it if you spent a minute gathering parts of its body.
I was in fact
Golly.
going to ask.
Essences.
Rona has no issue with this. She needs to catch a breather.
Yeah, that's fair. It takes a minute. There's literally no check involved. You quite literally just find like the central part of it that was magical that made it function, and you just scoop it up and put it in a bag. So whoever wants to, there is a percentile die to roll, a D100.
Any takers?
I would love to.
I believe in you, Audie.
Make sure I have the 2 right dice. I do. That's an 88.
Ooh.
Quite good. You get a common primal essence. Unfortunately, 3 away from an uncommon primal essence.
Oh.
Dang.
But still, just at the cost of like 25 of Corona's life, you got an essence for free. So, I mean, that's something.
Yeah. Audie's gonna come up to Corona and she's like, I have a potion if you need it, and I can try and sing you some health back if you'd like.
I'm all right. I got a potion as well, but I'd rather save that for emergencies. But good looking out still, all of you. It was good teamwork.
No problem. Wasn't that hard. I mean, it was. It was a bunch of rocks, but
Yeah, I'll say. She says as she's like flicking her hand up and down from the punch.
why'd you punch it?
I don't know. Never seen anything like that. I thought maybe it'd be soft underneath that something.
You thought maybe punching a brick wall would be soft.
I mean, this thing's magic, ain't it?
It is, yeah. Yeah, it is.
Right, well, tape your hand up and let's get going, unless you need a minute.
Nah, I'm good with the minute we took to harvest the thing.
So flas you are. Let's go then.
Okay. You all start your journey anew, moving past the crumbled remains of the elemental into the curving pathway in which it emerged from. You travel along the bottom of the Titan Horns mountain range for another hour or two, uninterrupted, undiscovered by anything, enjoying the relief provided by the cover from the windstorm. But then summarily also trading out a bit of, slightly more uncomfortable terrain to try to walk through and work through. So again, the pace remains roughly the same that you were at before. The good news is it's enough of a breather for you not to be attacked, just not enough for you to get any rest. After a time, like I said, about 2 hours or so, this winding section kind of comes to a close. The natural plateau that you were sort of facing down before kind of spreads out and kind of more harmoniously kind of meshes together with the tops of the foothills and the mountain itself. And you watch as alongside just this rift cut up into the Titan Horns mountain range, where there's just this swath of trees that have grown up out of the foothills and up into this crest. And you can already see, hey Adi, we're getting a lot of feedback from you.
Oh, sorry.
Where you can see that there's already signs of combat that have arrived here. There are these large pock marks burned into the mountain and into the stone, sections of trees that have been completely burned, where there's nothing green attached to them. They are just these black charcoaly spires that have kind of cropped up in small sections, in whole areas where you can tell there are huge line of something that just sort of raked through an area that has toppled entire trees. And when you get close enough to sort of look and observe, you can see there are sections of these trees that have now fallen that just look like something disintegrated a section of them. Without getting into great specifics, it's obvious enough for you to be able to observe many, many footsteps that have trudged up this incline into the cleft into the mountain range to where you suspect this Shalcir outpost was located, enough to give you pause and perhaps even concern as to what might be waiting for you up there. This is an opportunity for you to, if you want, to try to find a place to rest, or to make some checks, if you would like. There's information to be discovered if you dig deep enough.
Well, it's going to take a look at the tracks, see if she can get an idea of how many people had passed through here.
Survival check, please.
Just would like to take a moment to rest if we've got the time.
That's up to the party. Or,
That is fine with me.
if you'd like to visit the house rules, you can take a heroic short rest, which is only 10 minutes, where you get all the benefits of a short rest, but you at the cost of a point of exhaustion.
Not that desperate.
Somewhere between 0 and 1,000 people pass through here. I got a 4.
It's fair. I was gonna say, I'm guessing that I have to also rest if I'm using my Song of Rest, right?
The Song of Rest, I'm pretty sure, requires a short rest to take place. It just isn't a thing that just heals a d6 whenever you stop.
Oh yeah, it's the end of a short rest.
Yeah.
So I must also rest. Okay, yeah.
I
As in, because I wanted to also help investigate, but I think
yeah,
the rest is better.
Technically, yes. I mean, I guess then the question is, are all of you going to take a short rest?
Mm-hmm.
The area is a little exposed and heavily traveled. So if any more transports were to fly by, for instance, or if any patrols were to come through here, it would be quite obvious that you're present.
Is it like a flat terrain or
Sloped.
sloped?
Sloped. Yeah. There are various footholds here and there. But yeah, it's at a less harsh gradient than previously.
Okay.
Starting from, like I said, the foothills that sort of mesh up into this the swath into the mountains.
Is there a perimeter at all that we could hide in? Or is it pretty exposed? Like,
If you went down into the foothills, you could probably find more comfortable coverage.
but that's more than 5 minutes away.
More or less, to do it safely. I mean, 5 minutes by comparison to an hour's time that you're looking to sacrifice for the short rest doesn't seem like a whole lot. It is an option.
Might not be a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. Then we can hurry back up here and do some inspecting and carry on.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the final decision?
Sounds like brief trek to cover, short rest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sounds good to me.
You guys will head down into the foothills, west of your position. Somebody that is not Lilith, make me a survival check to see what kind of cover and location you find to rest. More or less, just how secure is it?
Crone has got pretty good survival, doesn't she?
+2.
Okay,
Russ
so-
has +3.
Okay. Go for it, Russ.
One whole point better.
That's a whoever.
13.
Okay. Which is to say, you find a sufficient enough spot amongst a small copse of trees that provides reasonable cover, and does not allow for someone to casually walk by and immediately notice your presence. And at that juncture, you're more than welcome to take a short rest. Are you having somebody kind of stay and watch?
Lilith can, 'cause she doesn't need a short rest.
Noted.
And Audie will be singing her song of rest for Roz and Corona for a d6 each.
Roz
Thank
is
you.
not hurt. She's just gonna help Corona bandage. Roz is just missing her exploit dice.
It was really Corona,
Mm-hmm.
It's Corona. Corona needed the rest.
but every little
It is.
bit counts.
Getting smacked by a rock repeatedly tends to do that to you.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do
Nice.
that. Now let's roll the d6. The song.
Oh.
Okay, one more.
Lilith, roll a perception check for me.
14.
Great.
There we go.
As Corona's resting, Roz is tending to her. Audie, you're singing to soothe the weariness of your trip. Lilith, you're keeping an eye on things around you. When you get to the tail end of the hour, you successfully get your rest. Is when Lilith, you do note that you catch the unmistakable glimmer of the polished bronze armor of a trio of night automatons, what appears to be returning from a patrol and slowly marching their way back up the pathway you all just discovered.
We've got automatons making their way back up.
How many of them?
3.
They the small ones, or are we looking at the real nasty big ones?
Which ones were they? They're like
The knights.
Oh, the knights. Okay, okay.
The humanoid-looking ones, but big.
Gotcha. Well, what do you think? Could we ambush them?
I don't think they've seen us. We'd have to be able to sneak closer, though. And there isn't a lot of cover.
Well, I'm willing to give it a try.
If we take them now, we probably don't have to fight them on the way back when we recover the Shalseer survivors.
Do you have numbers?
3.
I mean, we've taken one down before. I mean, we had Titan in a group with us, but...
Titan's here, technically.
Oh, wait, Titan's here. But Titan's not throwing fists.
No, assume he's contributing.
Oh, okay.
Don't take it away that Titan's just sitting over there doing nothing. Assume he's contributing.
Yeah.
He's just not... Player's not present.
Yeah.
We took on quite a few of them in that mission. I mean, Roz took like 30 punches from them.
That's true.
I say we get as close as we can. Lilith, you think you could get close enough without being spotted to just start shooting them?
Can certainly try.
You could start shooting him from right here, just to point that out.
Actually, I think I could probably take a shot from here.
Should we make sure they're not forward scouts? And there's not another 40 behind them?
I think they're on patrol.
Alright then. Easy enough.
Shall I?
Oh, you darling.
Lilith will draw her bow and knock an arrow. Take a shot at the center one.
Okay. Well, in the interest of self and other things, we're going to stop here because we're not going to start a combat 5 minutes before the end of the session.
Yeah.
You mean we
For
can't
minute
kill them?
ricochets.
So with that in mind, we're gonna finish right there, and we'll pick back up next week. With Lilith taking a shot at that Sinner Night Automaton. So, hey, we're done. Thumbs up. We're finally on the mission, which I'm excited to do. And I think it's gonna be neat. I hope you look forward to all the things I've been working on. And yeah. Life, difficulties, friendship, endurance. Make our choices.
Getting punched by a rock.
Yeah, there you go. Get hit in the face with a rock.
Don't punch a rock.
Make better choices than that. Yeah, that's a good one. I really should have just grabbed that one. Anyway, don't punch rocks. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Make
Bye.
great choices.
We going anywhere, okay? Or we just good?
I figured not tonight because
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
it's probably just going to be the couple of us left.
Official bye-bye. See you later.